Started. I want to welcome you all. Thank you very much for being here on today's Uniworld Firefight chat here with Luxury Cruise Connections. Welcome you all that showed your interest in participating in today's event. We have several people that have already joined us. We're going to see a few more guests joining us in just a couple of minutes. Very excited about today because we haven't had a Uniworld event for a long time, and it hasn't been for lack of interest. We've just been very busy, but we wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to share with our guests, prospects, and everybody that follows us, follows our emails and our events. Uniworld is an incredible cruise line, offers an incredible and unique experience. If we want to stay true to our values of always doing what's right for our clients, then it is a must for us to show you Uniworld and to just spend a few minutes learning about what Uniworld has to offer and why they're so different. So for today's event, today's event is going to be a fireside chat. But we want to make it very dynamic. We want to make it very conversational, right? It's very important for all of you guys to know that this is not your typical formal format. We're not just gonna start showing you a presentation with a whole bunch of information. This is more of a Q&A session, right? German here is strategic account manager for our region for Uniworld, and here is with us because I'm basically gonna spend the next several minutes asking him questions, learning about Uniworld and some of the uniquenesses about Uniworld, and then we're gonna make sure that we ask questions in two ways. Number one is, if at any point in time during the event you feel there's something that you really want to know more about and you want to interrupt, please feel free to do so. Either raise your hand, unmute yourself, stop us, ask the question. But you can also go into the chat box in Zoom. So basically here, right? Hello. You might just see, you probably just saw a little bubble pop up in the bottom of your screen. And that is where you can also type your questions. And then at the end of the event, at the end of my questions, I'm going to go back and make sure to ask every single one of the ones that you're asking. Also, you should know that throughout the event, we also want to know who's with us, a little bit of what you've done, a little bit of what you like, a little bit of whether or not you've sold with Uniworld or you've done business with us. So you might see a couple of pop-ups come up in your screen again. These are going to be polls like this one, exactly. So have you sold with Uniworld before? So we'd love to hear your feedback. We want to know how much you know about Uniworld. We love those events where most of the people have not sailed with a cruise line. That means that we can absolutely inspire you to try them, hopefully. But so for example, in today's event, I'm seeing 53% of you have answered so far, and 87% of you have never cruised with Uniworld before. So that's great news. It means that you're here because you want to learn, you want to educate yourself on what Uniworld has to offer. So hopefully you might like it. And so we're going to do a little bit of this throughout the event. And that way we can also, as we see it fit, we can also gear the conversation in that direction. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and spotlight Mr. German Jones. I'm going to spotlight myself as well. So hopefully by now you can all see us in the screen. German, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm great. How are you doing, Carlos?
Doing great, my friend. Doing great. Thank you very much for being here with us and joining us today. I know this is the first time that you do an event like this, this format. So hopefully you like it, and hopefully our guest and audience today will like it as well. I know that in today's event, we have a lot of people that have done business with us in the past. Some people might have not done business with Luxury Cruise Connections in the past. So I welcome the opportunity also for anybody that has questions about us to also ask, and I'll also throw my pitch at one point throughout the presentation. There you go. So there's Denise. Thank you, Denise, for pushing that out. Have you ever done business with Luxury Cruise Connections? And go ahead and answer that question at your own leisure. So, German, how you doing today?
All right, I'm great. I'm great. Thank you. Thank you for having me today, Carlos.
No, thank you. Thank you for being here. And you know, we've been doing business for a long time. Luxury Cruise Connections is a part of a Virtuoso network as well as Uniworld. We've been booking our clients Uniworld for many years, and our clients love it. And they particularly like it because Uniworld has a very unique experience to offer their clients. So, tell us, why don't we start this presentation by sharing with our clients and our guests and our attendees today, kind of what differentiates Uniworld? Like, tell us a little bit about Uniworld, what differentiates Uniworld, and a little bit of what's included on a typical Uniworld river cruise. Just tell us about it.
Okay. Well, thanks again, Carlos, for having me. And hello, everyone. As Carlos mentioned, I'm the strategic account manager for Uniworld that covers the Luxury Cruise Connections agency. We have a great partnership together. In fact, it's great. We both concentrate on luxury, of course. So Uniworld is a luxury boutique river cruise line. And as far as the great adjective that Carlos used was boutique, or excuse me, was unique. And we really are. Reason being is, well, number one, we've been in the industry for 47 years. We're actually the oldest major river cruise line in existence, but we're not the most popular in terms of, you know, not everybody knows who we are or have experienced Uniworld, because we have a little niche of our own in the sense that we're in that luxury level, and you know, not really that mass market, a little bit more boutique, a little bit more intimate, and the inclusions and you know what we have with our brand, it's just incredible. And just to go over some of those inclusions, well, for starters, we have absolutely delicious cuisine on board. That's going to be, of course, included. We're mostly all inclusive. There's actually only a couple things that would be extra for Uniworld. But to go back to those inclusions, so delicious cuisine on board, and we can cater to all different types of any dietary restrictions that that may occur. You know, if there are any guests out there that you know, maybe vegetarians, vegans, gluten-free, anything like that, we can accommodate that. And we do go to the different farmers markets, pick up freshly sourced ingredients, produce, and bring them back onto the ship each time that we're you know, our chefs dock in the different destinations. So that's really great. And you know, so starts with the food, absolutely delicious on Uniworld. Also, beverages are going to be included on Uniworld. That's alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. Scheduled transfers. So for guests that are, you know, for you all that are flying into a particular destination, we'll pick you up at the airport and take you over to the ship port, and that's whether or not you take air through Uniworld. So that's going to be included as well. All onboard gratuities are included as well. So you don't have to worry about those. We have beautiful excursions that are included. About 85% of our excursions are included on Uniworld, so that's all you know, taken care of. There's only a few that are additional. You have ship-wide Wi-Fi. You have different exercise equipment on board for those, you know, who want to take advantage of, you know, and exercise while you're in while you're on the cruise. There's local onboard entertainment, in-suite butler service for those trips throughout Europe. And yeah, so just beautiful experiences, and all inclusive. And you know, so it's just a really nice experience in the world.
Basically, you know, when you're talking about a luxury cruise line, or you're talking about a luxury experience, you definitely don't want to be penny pinching people. So having all these inclusions really makes a difference, right? So like a lot of cruise lines will offer a beer and wine with lunch and dinner, stuff like that. They might even some might even have like a happy hour, like an open bar happy hour type of situation, but you guys include, I mean, basically, virtually everything, right? Um, I mean, even within the alcohol that you guys offer within your inclusion, what type of alcohol do you guys include? Like what type of brands, for example?
Sure, sure. And I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, because we do have and it's premium alcoholic beverages as well. So it's not it's not, obviously we're a luxury line, so it's not like well drinks or anything like that. It's very good premium alcoholic beverages. So just to give you examples, like for vodka, we'll have Kettle One, Grey Goose. For when it comes to like whiskey, we'll have Johnny Walker Black Label. We also serve Maker's Mark, Remy Martin, just to give you examples of some of the different brands that we use for on board. And like you mentioned, it's throughout the entire cruise. It's not just during lunch or dinner or just one cocktail hour or anything like that. It's
Really?
throughout the entire cruise. Yeah, the only exception actually to this, Carlos, just full disclosure, so everyone's aware,
Right.
is in Egypt. In Egypt, it is only beer and wine during lunch and dinner. That's the only itinerary that will have that. Every single other itinerary will be, basically that, the alcoholic beverages throughout the cruise. Whenever a guest feels like having it, it's all included.
Is that the Egypt exception? Is that due to local restrictions or something like that, or?
It's due to a contract that we set up with their government. Yes, that's correct. So that's the reason why it's not included.
Okay, interesting, interesting. And so, obviously, real quick to kind of go back to inclusions, sure, excursions, you said there's just a few of them that are not, but aside from that, in the world, I mean, in the area of wellness, I know that you guys, well, Uniworld is extremely committed to wellness. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure, sure. And so, like, for example, for guests that want to partake in yoga classes, we have that every morning on the top deck of the ship. It's a nice way to start the morning and start your day. It is all included with an instructor and everything. We also have Nordic walking sticks, exercise equipment. We have a gym on board every ship throughout our fleet in Europe. So it's something that we do provide for guests who like to participate in that. And additionally, we also have 25 bicycles per ship as well. So for guests that want to take a stroll along the river bank, anything like that, they can definitely take advantage of that. And yep, it is all included.
So all of that is included.
Yep.
Can you do spa treatments on board?
Spa treatments you can go ahead and do on board, but that's the only thing. That's one of the few things, I should say, that's additional with Uniworld. I mentioned, you mentioned it as well, the 15% of excursions, and also spa treatments are an additional charge as well. So they can do them, but just so you're aware that that would be extra.
Basically, yeah, which is expected, really. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely normal. And so your commitment to personal service. Okay, talk to us a little bit about that commitment to personal service.
Sure. So our onboard staff members are amazing. They go above and beyond to make sure everyone's having a fantastic time on board. They really make sure that guests are pampered. I mean, again, to reiterate, it's a luxury. We're a luxury river cruise line, so that's what guests expect. The best way to sum it up, actually, I heard this a couple weeks ago, and it's a pretty nice little story as far as about our staff members. So I spoke to a guest that had been on multiple different, multiple river cruise lines, and they said that they always enjoy going up to the top deck, and basically, they always travel at the same time each year. And it's always a little chilly out and stuff like that. They have they take their coats up and everything like that. But they said that on Uniworld, when they did the same thing on Uniworld as far as traveling in the same time frame and went up to the top deck, they said that we were serving hot chocolate and we provided blankets for guests. So And I heard that and I thought, well, I have to share that. So that's a nice little example of where Uniworld really goes above and beyond to make sure our guests are just having, an amazing time.
And that is one of multiple stories that we know, our clients and guests bring back from their trips. At the end of the day, and I'm just gonna put this out there, kind of going a little bit of course here, but we know Uniworld is not the least expensive option when it comes to river cruising. In fact, they're definitely up there in the higher tier and I'm gonna change the word expensive for value, right? It is definitely an experience catered for a higher end clientele. And it is definitely an experience that is catered for a higher end clientele that have very particular expectations of what a luxury vacation should be like. There are many options. You can do the same, a very similar itinerary on multiple different brands. And we always get the question, there's all these different brands, and I hear this, and I hear that one, and I hear this one, but which one is the right for me? How do I know which is the right for me? Well, with Uniworld, it's easy, and we're gonna go more in detail about it, but it's easy because they cater to a very I guess smaller tier, more niche clientele, right? Clients that are interested in that extreme level of personalized service and attention to detail. And then and I know that not just on board, but also off the ship. I mean, Uniworld has a commitment to destination immersion. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah. So that's very, very important to us. And like you mentioned, just making sure that guests, we meet or exceed the expectations of our guests. We want to make sure that all guests on board are just having, an amazing time, and they really, really enjoy their experience. Yeah. And so, like I said, with the all-inclusiveness, it's really great. Their staff members, it's amazing. We really get there. And then as far as that immersiveness that you're referring to, another big portion of that is our decor on Uniworld. So with Uniworld, we make sure that I should say no two ships are alike on Uniworld. So we're very unique in that sense. Not even, no two suites on the same ship are alike either. So we make sure to have just absolutely beautiful decor. So guests, really immerse themselves in the not just in the destination, but on board our ships as well. And that decor mimics the destinations that we're visiting. So if you travel throughout France, you're going to see a French-inspired theme on board the ship. If you're in Asia, you're going to see that Asian-inspired theme on the ship. So it's very important to us that our guests really immerse themselves on their trip as a whole, not just in the destination, but also on board the ship as well.
Okay, and of course, a luxury experience would not be much without talking about dining. Can you elaborate a little bit about the dining experience on board Uniworld?
Sure, perfect. So as I mentioned, we make sure to use freshly sourced ingredients, produce, and everything to make these delicious meals. But also, and this goes back to immersion as well. When we have those meals, that cuisine, when we make that cuisine on board, it matches the destination that we're visiting. So it's very important that we do that. So of course, guests have that authentic experience, and so we do also. I do want to mention, aside from speaking on the cuisine, aside from the different plates that we offer, the different variety of things that we offer with just authentic foods to the destination that we're visiting, we also have traditional American options as well. As you know, most of our onboard guests are American, so we do make sure to cater to to make sure to have like different varieties so guests can enjoy that as well. But yes, it is very important that our food just just depending on the destination matches or our cuisine matches the destination that we're visiting. Yes, completely.
I think
very important.
I think destination focus and authenticity with the destination is a big thing with Uniworld. We're gonna see more of this as we get deeper in the conversation. But you know, just by looking at your ships and how your ships are decorated, and you know the design of the ships, and we're gonna get to show our guests more about that later. But now, I do want to dig a little bit more in that cuisine aspect. So obviously, you know, we know that you're gonna have very authentic, you know, wherever you are type of you know, cuisine, and you're also going to have some more traditional American dishes for those that don't want to eat pasta for, well, I guess pasta wouldn't be the right one, but I guess want to eat Wiener Schnitzel for I don't know, 7 days or whatever, right? So you know, what's the expectation though? Like, is the expectation of high-end cuisine? Is it more standard? Is it more relaxed? Like, what's the expectation when it comes to the, you know, the I guess Uniworld's investment in cuisine?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So the cuisine, it is more of a high-end cuisine. We do affiliate ourselves with, you know, top different culinary teams, you know, and just to make sure that the expectations go above and beyond on board our ships. So if you know, if you do like a little like review, even just maybe like a Google search, for example, of the different experiences that guests have on board, and their experiences with our dining, with our cuisine on board, you'll see that we're amongst the highest top rated river cruise line because we make sure that we have just absolutely delicious cuisine on board. Yes.
Interesting. And now, changing subject completely, what is Uniworld's approach to families?
So that's a great question. So as far as families on board, for the most part, you're not going to encounter families, but we do have what's called the multi-generational families. It's the average guest age on board Uniworld is about 55. That's the average. But now for our generations program, and that's for multi-generational families that want to take advantage of a Uniworld cruise, we do have a few sailings per year that will go ahead and offer that. So if you have, you know, any of your clients are looking to travel as a family together, they have kids on board, we can definitely accommodate that throughout our generations themed programmed cruise. And that's specific to a few sailings per year. It's usually during like when kids are on spring break or summer, things like that. And for those guests that do that cruise, that, you know, maybe weren't, you know, we're hoping not to encounter any kids on board or any, you don't have to worry about that, because we make sure to, you know, to have different programs and things like that, so kids are kept busy. It's not like they're, you know, they're running around the ships or anything like that. We have different art classes, cooking classes. We'll do tours of the ship with the captain, and they have there's fun activities for them. So they're always kept busy, but yeah, that is something that we do offer on certain.
Usually kids that are going to go on board a river ship, you know, they can't be the typical kid looking for a rock climbing wall, because that's not what they're going to find. And therefore, usually what you would see if you see kids are kind of a little bit, you know, well behaved and culturally immersed, I guess is the right way to put it. Okay, cool. So now let's talk about your destinations. I'm seeing a comment in the chat from Elizabeth, and we're gonna get back to that one in a second because I love it. Elizabeth is a past guest with Uniworld. And by the way, Elizabeth, I don't know if you were expecting this or not, but I will hopefully bring you up on the stage here, the virtual stage, and later on, because I'd love to hear your experience live. And we're gonna get back to you in a minute. But let's talk about the destinations. I mean, what destinations does Uniworld cover? Like, if I want to sell Uniworld, where can I sell with Uniworld? I guess.
Okay. So we're mainly throughout Central Europe. So we travel, of course, you know, the two, you know, biggest, most popular rivers throughout Central Europe, with the Rhine and the Danube. We travel throughout all different countries. We're all throughout, you know, the Netherlands and Germany, and Czech Republic, Austria. I mean, it's the list goes on and on, the number of countries we visit. Switzerland, Belgium, but we do have, what's pretty neat is we do have certain cruises that are not in Central Europe as well. So, but part of Europe. So just to finish with Europe, sorry, it's we have three different itineraries in France. We have a trip in Spain and Portugal. We have a trip in Italy as well. So that's pretty neat, traveling throughout Venice. So that we cover, Europe, vastly. That's where the majority of our destinations are. But we do also have exotic destinations as well in Vietnam and Cambodia, India, Peru, and Egypt. Those are our four exotics.
So, okay, hold on. Before we go into exotics, not many river cruise lines have an itinerary in Venice like the one Elizabeth took. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Sorry.
Sure. So we have a couple of different ways that you can take that trip. You can start with doing like a pre-nights, 2 pre-nights in Milan, which is really nice. And but the actual cruise itself, it's going to travel throughout the Venice Lagoon. So you'll be able to basically visit different areas throughout Venice and go to all the different surrounding islands as well. So you'll visit like Cello, Burano, Mosorbo, different islands surrounding the Venice Lagoon, which is really neat.
Nice. Okay, and then going back to your more exotic itineraries. So you were talking about the Mekong River itineraries.
Yep.
Just since I have the map right here, can you elaborate more on this?
Sure. So we'll travel throughout. So that would be Timeless Wonders of Vietnam and Cambodia. That will do the Mekong. We have it in a 13 and a 15-day trip on the Mekong Jewel, which is just absolutely beautiful ship. It's a round trip from Ho Chi Minh City, the 13-day, and we'll visit different places. Like some of the, of course, the highlights you're going to be on the Mekong, but you're also going to see Angkor Wat, Angkor Bam, Angkor Thom. So different, just beautiful UNESCO heritage sites that we'll visit on that trip as well.
Very nice. And then India. India is also river cruises normally don't have itineraries in India.
Yep, exactly. That's a great point. And so with India, of course, we're going to travel throughout the Ganges River. That's the popular river over there. But with the particular itinerary, we also want to make sure to see a lot of important land attractions as well. So just to give you an example, the Taj Mahal, of course, if you're going to be in India, you're of course wanting to see the Taj Mahal. So I'm glad that you brought that up, because the way that we set up, different trips like that is we will include intraday flights anytime that, so we'll do a cruise portion, and then we'll fly you over to the different sections to make sure that we're always visiting the popular areas or the popular destinations throughout a particular country that we're visiting. So, and all those intraday flights, I'm sorry?
Good combination between land and river.
Exactly. So if it's a destination that it's important to see, both river and the land portion as well, we'll go ahead and combine those. So we do that. We do that with India. We also do it with Egypt as well. We'll have intraday flights, and they will be included.
So let's talk about Egypt, since you mentioned it.
Okay. So perfect. So of course the major river in Egypt, of course, is the Nile River, and as you guys know, and so we'll visit Egypt. We'll travel throughout the country. We'll take intraday flights as well. We'll visit the Luxor Temple and see the Egyptian pyramids and things like that. So that's another great example of, we'll make sure to cover the cruise portion. We'll see that that beautiful Nile River and the surrounding river banks and things like that. But we'll also do land portions as well to make sure that guests really immerse themselves and are able to see all the beautiful things that a particular country has to offer.
Okay. Now, and this is also not a typical destination for most cruise lines with such a big presence in Europe, but let's talk about this one. So how cool is this, right? You get to experience a little bit of the Amazon here, and then Peru. Talk to us about this itinerary.
Sure. So this is, so we have this 2 different itineraries for this particular trip. It's our Peruvian Amazon trip. It's a 15-day trip. which includes Machu Picchu. And so, because of course, if you're going to be in that area, you're going to want to see, if you're going to be in Peru, you're going to want to see Machu Picchu. There's guests that maybe have done Machu Picchu already, or some that, maybe aren't interested. In that case, they can always do the 11-day trips. Those are the two different ones. And with this particular itinerary, it's a round trip from Lima, and you'll be traveling throughout that Peruvian Amazon. You're going to see some of the local villages and things like that. So you really get an idea of how the locals live and everything like that. You'll visit national reserves, and you even have like there's some fishing on board for guests who want to do some fishing, like catching piranhas and things like that. It's a pretty neat experience. It's very different from our typical Uniworld trip. But it is a very, very popular destination for us.
So in this itinerary, you're basically spending, what is it, 4 or 5 nights in the river, in the Amazon River?
Yep, approximately, correct.
That's a little bit of it's very expedition-ish, right? I mean, you get to spend, you get to sleep in this beautiful vessel, but it's about exploring the Amazon, I guess, fauna and flora, right?
Yep,
So,
exactly. And the vessel is really neat too, because and it's a good adjective used with with expedition, because it is just quite different than our other ships as well. So not just the itinerary, but the ship itself. It's quite smaller. There's only 32 cabins on board this particular ship, or excuse me, 32 passenger count, I should say, on board this particular ship. So 16 cabins, floor to ceiling windows. It's just really, really beautiful. But yes, it is a little bit more of like an expedition.
I actually have a picture of it that I would like to show everybody. If you're looking for a sec. Sorry, this is kind of a little bit of what that ship looks like in the Amazon. It's very, very cool. Very modernish. I guess it's a relatively new ship, right?
Yeah, and all of our ships are refurbished, constantly. So even if they're not new, they look brand new. So like, for example, this particular ship is from 2010, but it was recently refurbished. And so if you take a look there, I mean, it looks brand new. So the top right there, it has the picture of the ship itself. But right below that, it shows you that floor to ceiling window that I was referring to in the cabins, and then just below that you see that top deck area. So really nice, really nice little expedition vessel. Yeah.
All right, so since we're getting into ships, and I really want to this is important, because when it comes to Uniworld, you're not getting the same ship for every single destination. So every destination has a little bit of a different experience. So all the way from the Amazon, let's go back to Europe. Let's talk about France for a second. Talk to us about this ship in France, which, by the way, I'm also going to show in just one sec. Talk to us about the Voyage.
Okay, perfect. So that's an absolutely beautiful. So this particular one, let me see the slide there. There we are. You're in. I'm showing a little overview of the ship. As you can see, it was inaugurated in 2006. But then transformed in 2019. So this is another example of just, the ship looks absolutely brand new, especially since we didn't, of course, use it much during COVID. So it essentially is pretty pretty brand new, as you can see. So through some of the slides there, you have the lobby. There's that French inspired theme that I was referring to with the French sign in the background. That's a infinity pool in the back. We have artwork. We have up to $1 million worth of artwork on all of our ships. This is a French balcony. And this particular room here, this is a suite, which is really nice. It has that separate area as well, as you can see from that angle. And yep, and then marble bathrooms throughout. So really, really beautiful design on board this particular ship as well, as our other ones. So yeah, it's as you can see, through by the images, it's just absolutely beautiful. And it goes back to what I said earlier with us matching the destination that we're visiting. So you see that beautiful fine upholstery there in the lounge area. So yeah, it's absolutely amazing vessel.
French inspired for sure. I mean, look, if you want to travel in an ultra modern or a modern decor, modern looking vessel throughout France, you can, and there's options. But if you want to really feel like you're in France, I mean, what a better way to feel Parisian, than actually navigating through France on a such a French decor ship. I think, and like I said, it's unique, and it's definitely for people that really want to feel immersed. I mean, that's what Uniworld gives you, right? So
That's exactly right. Yep.
that's a little bit of that. And then let's talk about this one over here. So that's we from France, let's go all the way to Asia, and let's talk about the ship that is traveling through the Mekong and the Mekong experience.
Okay, excellent. So yes, so this particular one is the Mekong Jewel. This particular ship was inaugurated in 2020, so this one is brand new. It wasn't, of course, used during the pandemic, so that's why I say it's brand new, even though we're in 22. But it does travel throughout the Mekong. And one of the things that I neglected to mention earlier is, well, actually, if you could just go back to that one slide, just 1 second, the staff and guest, the guest to staff ratio, I should say, 68 guests to 51 staff members. So it's almost a 1-to-1 ratio on this particular ship. And that's something I did neglect to mention earlier, that we do also have an incredible ratio on board Uniworld to make sure that guests really receive that personal care. And so yeah, so let's take a look at the ship now and the images. So you can see this is an indoor lounge area. This is the dining area, pool deck and lounge area. And this is the grand suite. This is 550 square feet. And then here we have the royal suite. This is at 924 square feet. So very, very big, as you can see. Beautiful marble bathrooms throughout. All of our fleet have marble bathrooms in it on all of our rooms on all of our ships. So just be aware of that. But yeah, so just really, really beautiful design, as you can see by the images.
And then this is what we have in India.
Yep. So this is the Ganges Voyager, what we use to travel throughout India, and we've actually upgraded it since then as well. So it has been refurbished. So really, really beautiful as well. I don't believe we have slides of this particular ship, but yes, but again, that excellent staff to guest ratio and things like that. And this is the SS Sphinx. It's another new ship. 2020. It travels, of course, throughout Egypt on the Nile River, and again that great ratio there of 84 guests to 58 staff members. So that as you can see, that personalized care.
That's the
yep.
That's the one that we talked about, and then I want to talk about some unique itineraries as well. So obviously, So obviously, aside from your traditional itineraries, we get a lot of questions about holiday season itineraries. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Sure. So we have quite a few themed cruises and different itineraries that people seek, just to try different things. So for example, that particular slide you had up there was the holiday themed cruises. So that's going to center around a lot of different like Christmas market trips throughout the Rhine and Danube rivers, which is really neat. Many of them throughout Germany, well, different parts of Central Europe, and it is a very, very popular one for us, themed cruise for us, in especially throughout the end of the year.
You still have some availability for this?
We have very, very limited availability in 2022, but we do still have a few cabins available for any of you looking to do a last minute trip. But most of you are going to be looking for 2023 because we really don't have that much room. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, for we do offer those trips.
If anybody's interested in that Christmas markets, let us know. We can probably find that limited availability, and if not, let's get you booked for the next one because they do run out quickly. And then the other one that is also quite popular is Europe's Jewish heritage. Can you talk about a little bit about that one?
Yes, that's correct. So our Jewish Heritage Cruise, again, they'll concentrate throughout like the Rhine and Danube rivers. And what we'll do is we'll learn about the Jewish history, visit different synagogues and things like that, and really just learn about the culture. And that's another very popular themed cruise for us.
Cool. All right. That's good. So hopefully by now we've gotten a couple of people excited about cruising with Uniworld. And then if somebody is interested in actually, booking something, I do have a little bit of I have a slide here to talk about what's, kind of the most current promotions with Uniworld. Can we talk about it? And I'll share the screen on this one too.
Perfect. Yes. We have quite a few promotions going on right now, and that guests can take advantage of. So the first one being the Rivers Less Traveled promotion, which is anywhere between $1,500 to $3,000 off per person on select exotic destinations. So something to keep in mind, and that's if it's booked by November 30th. Obviously you don't have to travel by November 30th. It's just you have to book it by then in order to take advantage of that promotion. Just under that, we have the 2023 pay in full promotion, which so guests will get a 10% discount if they pay for their 2023 cruise in full by November 26th. So keep that one in mind as well. We also have the solo traveler savings. This is a very popular one for guests who are going to be traveling alone. We do offer solo traveler savings where you'll get, we'll go ahead and reduce or even waive the single supplement surcharge. So that's really neat, and you can take advantage of that up until November 30th as well on select itineraries. Below that, we have the past guest promotion, which is our River Heritage Club promotion. With this particular one, if any of you have been on Uniworld before, of course you would have qualified for that past guest promotion. But if you haven't been on Uniworld, but you have been on some of our sister brands, then you would also qualify. So just to give you a little bit of a background, because I'm not sure how many of you know this, but our parent company is the Travel Corporation. Travel Corporation has many different travel brands under its umbrella. 40 different travel brands to be exact. And just to name some of those travel brands, so Lion World Travel, African Travel, Trafalgar, Insight Vacations, Luxury Gold, Brendan Vacations, just to name a few. And so if you all have been on one of those, one of our sister brands, then you would also qualify on Uniworld past guest promotions.
Red Carnation.
Keep that in mind. Red Carnation as well. Yep, that's correct.
If somebody has stayed at a Red Carnation hotel, would they qualify as well?
That's correct. Yes, they would. So make sure to to inform us of that. And then also, of course, we have the exclusive that you all are going to be able to offer your guests. So when booking through Luxury Cruise Connections, on top of taking advantage of these great promotions that I just mentioned, you'll also get $100 per person savings if you book it through November 30th, and you'll also receive a shipboard credit. So if it's a cruise in 2022, if you're taking like a last minute Christmas markets trip or something like that, it would be a $200 per person shipboard credit. If it's a cruise in 2023, then it would be $150 per person shipboard credit. So basically, guests, you all can sail, if a couple is traveling together, it's $200 per room, $200 per room in savings, and up to $400 in shipboard credit, which is really neat that you'll be able to offer your clients. So really nice incentive for booking through Luxury Cruise Connections. Yeah.
No, and obviously this is thanks to the partnership. I mean, we get we get this question all the time, like, hey, would it make more sense for you to book directly with Uniworld? And when you see a partnership like this, where just for attending and showing interest in learning about the brand, you get access to this special promotion, which is only exclusive by booking through us. It kind of says a lot about that relationship, right? And
yep, That's exactly right. Yeah, we really appreciate and value the partnership that we have with Luxury Cruise Connection. So yeah, so that's how that's why we've gone ahead. Well, that's why we work together. That's why you get the great promotions to offer your guests, just to make sure that we continue to to work closely together and thrive. Yeah.
And this is where I throw my pitch for those that have not done business with us in the past. You should know that we are a full service luxury travel agency. We focus on luxury cruises. Our team of luxury cruise advisors are extremely experienced, not only on the cruise product, but also on the destination. We're full service because we have our own air department. We have our own concierge team. So every time you book a cruise with us, not only do you get a personalized cruise advisor, but you also get a personalized concierge that is going to help you plan your pre, your post, your transfers, your excursions, your even spa reservations if you need them. I mean, anything that you can imagine to make sure that your experience, not only just booking, but also traveling, is better. That's what we're here for. So for those that have done business with us, thank you so much. And for those that haven't, we invite you to try us out, because you'll see, obviously, aside from getting these exclusive perks, just by doing business with us, you're going to get an experience and a relationship and a personalized attention that I believe it's unique to us. So very much welcome you to try us out if you haven't. And regarding all these other promotions, there's always going to be good promotions, but there's clearly a lot going on in the industry. Demand is definitely coming back. So when I see Uniworld putting up a discount, a 10% discount for paid in full by November 26th, I mean, unless you think you can make more than 10% of the stock market next year, hopefully you will. Hopefully we all will. But I think it's a pretty safe. It's pretty safe to say that that's an easy way to make 10% on your money. So, all right, I think it's time for some questions. I have a few on the chat. So we have a poll. So what do you value the most in a luxury experience? I want to know, what do you value the most on a luxury experience? Excursions, service, look and feel, rooms, small ship experience, dining, destination experience, other. Look forward to getting your answers on that. And while people submit their answers, let me go ahead with some other questions. So Arthur was asking me on a private message. I just finished the Castles on the Rhine. This is Arthur Hilson. I just finished the Castles of the Rhine, and it was fabulous. Does Uniworld have any cruises with low or no single supplement? So I guess we talked about a single supplement. We talked about there being some itinerary. Can you elaborate more on that?
Sure. So basically, we do, that is part of the solo traveler promotion that I mentioned. So basically, it is available, but on select cruises. And of course, your luxury Cruise Connections advisor could go ahead and let you know which ones they are. But we do always update lists on several different cruises. So it can be anywhere from like 10 to 20% of our cruises, sometimes even a little bit more, where we'll offer that wave single supplement. So Arthur basically would pay the same exact amount as if he were sharing a room with someone and they were splitting the cost, which is great. So it just completely waives single supplement on many of our itineraries.
Arthur, are you with us? Yes. If you don't mind, let me ask you to unmute. We'd love to hear, where do you want to go next, so we can see if we can get you some good single supplement. Arthur, I think there he is. Let me see if I can. There you are. Well, we gotta get you to unmute. No, we can't. Yeah, no, you're.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, and the castles in the Rhine were one of the best vacations I ever had. It was the first river cruise. I've done a number of ocean cruises, Caribbean cruises, but the first river cruise I had done. Since I travel alone, I'm always looking for single supplements. And where I where to go next would be either in France or in the Douro in Portugal and Spain. Would be do we have waiving single supplements for any cruises there, particularly in the last half of next year?
Okay, great. No, great question. I'll definitely check with revenue management. Who do you work with at Luxury Cruise Connection?
Have you done business with us before, or this?
No, I haven't. I have used Vacations to Go in the past.
I'm going to connect you with one of our advisors. With whom?
Sol Melendez.
With Sol.
We'll reach out to him.
Sol Melendez is going to reach out to you, and then through German, we're going to reach out to revenue management and try to get you a good deal.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and I'll make sure to get that updated list and send it over to Sol so he can go ahead and tell you exactly which are the itineraries that we do offer the Wave single supplement. Absolutely.
Terrific. Thank you very much.
Sure, my pleasure.
Excellent. And then I wanna go to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, are you still with us? Let me see. I think Elizabeth Thomas. Elizabeth Thomas, are you still with us? I'm trying to find you in the list. There she is. Okay, let me see if I can put you on the spot there. How you doing, Elizabeth? Let me ask you to unmute. You gotta unmute. Go ahead and unmute.
Did it work?
There you go. We can hear you just fine. So
Good afternoon.
I saw your message and you put a smile on my face. So talk to us about your experience with Uniworld and you want to learn more.
Well, like everyone else, I was feeling confined from COVID, and Uniworld sent out an email blast, I guess, because I received it and I had never sailed with them before. And it was kind of a startup special, I guess. It was June, July of 2021. So it was when you first went back into Italy, so your eyebrows go up. And it was incredible. It changed my view on river cruising. I had never done a river cruise before, and I thought I'd be bored out of my mind. And I really wasn't. And the guide who was on that ship with us the whole time was incredible. One of the things about a river cruise that I didn't appreciate before I took one is how interactive it is with the staff and the crew. And we had very few people on board. There were more staff than guests on that particular trip. It was Venice, started Milan, went down to Verona, then Venice and Chioggia and Bologna and all that. It was a great trip. But I think the other thing that you haven't really mentioned, your excursions are better than any I've been on, and I've been on so many. You get the best experts, you take people in at off times. We had the whole cathedral to ourselves at night with the historian. It was the best excursion I've ever taken. It really was. The whole trip was kind of opened my eyes to river sailing. It's not boring. It's like anything else. If you make it boring and sit in your room, you're going to be bored. But there's plenty to do, and their excursions are just the best. The service was excellent. The food was fantastic. I just can't, plus the taking care of you at the beginning and the end of the cruise means a lot to me. Like the gentleman who just spoke before me, I'm usually a solo traveler. I'm traveling with someone recently, but for years I did all solo, and it's very difficult to find something that's reasonable. So even though I'm not doing it as much anymore, I feel your pains, sir. It's something the industry has not recognized, and they need to. That's my 2 cents.
That's good. That's awesome. And where do you want to go next?
Well, I've been a few other places. I looked at that France one that you put out there. That looks very interesting. But now I have to consult with someone else too. So we'll see. He really wants to go on a long trip down to Australia or New Zealand, but I think that's going to be 2024. I think I'd like to go back to Europe in 2023.
Okay. Well, Elizabeth, if you don't mind, somebody from our team is going to be Monica Anderson.
Oh,
Porter.
okay.
She's going to be reaching out to you soon, and we can brainstorm on a couple of ideas for you. Definitely a couple of options in France with Uniworld. There's a couple of different itineraries we can show you, but
I would
uh,
even do that one again, to be honest, because it was so good. Plus, last year, I didn't see it this year, you had one that had connected with a train trip up to Zurich.
Mhm.
And now, this year, I saw that separately, but I think last year you could connect it to the Milan Venice one. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct. And that is something that we did alter a little bit as far as our with our train,
See, we're
our
watching you.
our rail, yeah, our rail combo. So thank you. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. And as far, well, there's a few things that I wanted to address. For one, since we're on the topic of the train, yes, we can. We did make some alterations to certain train itineraries, the combos, but we do still offer that particular trip to to the well, it's for throughout 23, where you'll get to travel from Venice to the Swiss Alps. We'll have that combination, and the trip ends on that rail in Zurich. So that's something
That
really
sounds
nice.
like
Yep,
the same one I saw last year.
yep,
but
yep.
didn't see
That's
the
right.
queue. Right.
Yeah, so luckily that one wasn't changed. So with Uniworld, like any other travel brand, we're always making little modifications and things like that to make sure that we're providing just the utmost just fantastic experience for guests. So that is one that continues to be popular, and we did of course bring it back for 2023. Yes,
The
and
Egypt
um,
intrigues me too. I had booked a trip to Egypt 2 years ago, I guess, and then backed out because I looked at how much time that I would spend. How can I put this? Not unaccompanied, but there's just an awful lot of on your own time. Hey, I don't speak their language. I think I would be more comfortable with a Uniworld because you're more hands-on and more supportive of your guests. So that's another one that I'll look at with, did you say Monica?
Monica, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah.
Monica.
And I'm glad that you brought that up, Elizabeth, because going back to, with what you mentioned earlier with excursions, and maybe I should have harped on it a little bit more, is, it's not just the personalized care, while on board the ship, but it's also while in the destinations as well with those local experts. Yep, the
Yes.
quality, exactly. You mentioned also that that you did, the after hours experiences. That is, I'm guessing it was either Doge's Palace or St. Mark's Basilica.
St. Mark's
Right.
was after
Yep.
hours. Doge's, we went in before it opened.
Okay,
It
perfect,
was just
perfect.
great.
So all those, yeah. So all those experiences where you're basically, it's obviously it's not at all times that our excursions will be able to visit these, beautiful landmarks, just by ourselves, but there's many cases where we'll visit places, Schönbrunn Palace is another one that we'll do, that we'll visit places where it's, when after hours, when it's closed to the general public. So it's a very intimate setting. And that goes back to, to what I was saying in the very beginning. We're, a very boutique and very intimate experience on board Uniworld.
Yep. And the
Right.
Venice trip was, of course, it had just reopened. There were no pigeons in St. Mark's Square. And I have a couple of pictures of that just to prove it.
Yeah, that is rare. That is very
Yeah.
rare.
Yeah. And the guide was reluctant to tell us why, but then she said during the pandemic, there weren't any people to steal food from. So they ate the pigeons, the seagulls. The seagulls came and ate the pigeons. Gross.
Oh
Oh
no.
my God.
But it was great to have no pigeons in St. Mark's Square.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for sharing that.
Sure.
I have a
Go
question.
now before they come back.
I have a question.
This is Jill. Let me put you 1 second. Okay, I can't really do spotlight for you because you're muted, but Elizabeth, thank you so much.
Sure.
Get with you. Jill, talk to us.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So do you provide transportation from Maui? I live in Maui, Hawaii, and that's been a limitation for a lot of the cruises and the river cruises is because of the transportation.
Yeah, so that we can always explore and see. I can't tell you specifically if what kind of flights we'll have from Maui, but whoever you work with at Luxury Cruise Connections can certainly investigate that and see if Uniworld does offer it. If not, they can help you separately booking an air package just to get you to that to the first destination, and that's all taken care of. The great thing about that is, or excuse me, about our transfers, like I mentioned earlier, like the getting you from the airport to the ship, is whether you take air through Uniworld or not, they will be included. So that's pretty neat. So that's something that Carlos can elaborate on a little bit.
Yeah, that's that's really one of the values of this partnership, right? So Jill, Derek Derek is who you're assigned to at our company. He can absolutely put together a program where we can either use Uniworld's air department, or we can use our own air department and get very creative with how we get you there, and then utilize Uniworld's transfers, included transfers, to get you to the ship. So we can absolutely look into that for you. Do you want to? Are you like in the? Do you want us to look into something specific for you, Jill?
Not at this point. I was working with Derek because we have a cycling trip in Croatia next September, and we were looking, because it takes so long to get to Europe from here, we were looking to add on a cruise, and we were looking at Greece, but it seems like everybody wants to go to Greece next year. So actually, like Budapest or something, I saw something with like 2-week cruises in Hungary, Budapest, that looked intriguing, but it's about the timing of the end of the bicycle trip and then working with
Okay.
something else.
Well, hopefully we'll figure something out. So thank you for participating, and I'll make sure to have Derek kind of look into that for you as well, or let him know that you were wondering about this. And Ruben had asked a question in the chat. What are the standard deposit? 10-20%, yeah, and then we already covered about the solo. So
sure. So great question. With as far as the deposit, if guests, like I mentioned earlier about the pay in full promotion, if guests wanted to take advantage of like the 10% savings, they would need to pay in full in order to take advantage of that. But for just a standard deposit, it would be 10% of the cost of the trip. And the great thing about it is we do have a very flexible cancellation policy. Policy. So let's say you have a cruise that you're interested in traveling, for next November, and you go ahead, you put that 10% deposit. That'll be set. Your cruise rate will be held. Your cabin will be held, so you don't have to worry about it, getting sold out or going up in price or anything like that. And then if something occurs, some kind of unforeseen incident occurs that you can't make the trip, you have up until 4 months prior to the trip to cancel, and you'll receive that 10%. Everything you'll receive it all back except for $200 per person deposit, which is, or excuse me, a $200 per person penalty that's kept as a credit for you to use at Uniworld within 5 years. So essentially that $200 that we're keeping per person, you can apply it to whichever other cruise that you choose in the future. So you'll still be able to use it just as long as you travel on Uniworld again. So basically it's a pretty lenient cancellation policy, and it allows guests to have that flexibility of not feeling that they're fully locked in or anything like that. So it's it's pretty neat. So that's how our deposit works.
German, now going back to solo itineraries, Ruben was mentioning that for 2023, you only see just a couple of solo promotional itineraries. If we have a guest that is interested in a particular date that happens to not be on that list, can we reach out to you and for you to go to revenue management, try to get some exceptions there?
Yes, please do that. So that way I can double check with them. Because a lot of the times what happens is, and I know exactly what you're referring to, because just on our website, it just shows I think the Tulip Times and something else. So it's not always updated, to to the full extent of the cruises that we do offer those discounts, unfortunately. So that's why I always like to double check with revenue management to see what's available and what we can do, because there's, there may be some instances where maybe it's not one of the featured solo traveler discounts, but I go ahead and ask, and they if an exception can be made, then perfect. Then I go ahead and convey that information to you all, so they can apply it. So yes, absolutely. Always let me know if there's any situation where you have a solo traveler, and I'll always go to bat and see what we can do for you.
German, I have a question. Do you offer kosher food? What options do you have for kosher food?
Okay, for kosher food, that's a great question, Monica. I'll go ahead and research that and just double check, because honestly, I haven't been asked that question before. So I do want to, and I really want to know the answer to it now that you brought
I'm
it up.
looking for, yeah. Okay.
So yeah, so I will be looking into that, and then and we're very good, as I mentioned earlier, at accommodating different dietary restrictions, or
That's what caught my attention when you
or
said
different
that, and I
dietary
thought,
needs,
well,
but that specific one, I'm not 100% sure of. So and I don't want to just give you any answers. So
That's
I will
okay.
go ahead. Yeah, I will go ahead and confirm that for you.
Thank you.
German, just to add to that, and Monica, I was, as you know, German, I was on the La Valencia in late March, early April. Being a diabetic too, they were great in making sure that taking care of my request for diet and all that. And plus, I'm not sure if you mentioned this, but anyone in our audience who is thinking of going to Venice, the best way to do Venice is through Uniworld, because the larger ships cannot go into Venice. They'll be going into Trieste, most likely. And Venice had, you guys, and I don't know if you're going to continue it, you guys had a special Venetian Islands cruise where it just went around the Venetian Islands. It was beautiful and all that. So are you guys going to be continuing that? Because that was a great way, and any guest who was thinking of just seeing Venice and different islands of Venice, because it is different islands, that was a great way. And the service, the food was just wonderful.
Yep. Thank you for sharing, Steve. And yes, we will continue to do the Venetian Islands. What we're eliminating is for, as I mentioned earlier, just making sure we always adapt to our different destinations to make sure guests are having just the best possible experience. So what we did go ahead and eliminate was the Po River area, where we did have some trouble with some of the waters there, and it wasn't the feedback wasn't always top notch like Uniworld is always used to for that particular area. So we've changed it a little bit, that itinerary. We've modified it a little bit, where we'll still visit many of the Venetian surrounding islands, and then and so the experience will be even better now.
Yeah, when we went, the Po River was not sailable, so they just added an extra island, and it was just fantastic. And it was no issues at all missing the Po River.
Yep, exactly. So so that's so we've gone ahead and we have made some modifications, and yes, so so it would be a little bit different for 2023.
Okay, thank you. And have a question from Patricia Smart. She's asking if you have any U.S. cruises.
U.S. cruises, no. We operate mainly in Europe, and then we have those other 4 exotic destinations I mentioned, but none in Europe, or excuse me, none in the U.S.
Patricia, I think we're with you. We would love to see Uniworld one day going through the Mississippi River. Maybe one day, but for now we'll have to find a little bit of a different experience for you. But we'll get with you. We'll reach out to you, and hopefully we can find.
Pat, just let me know what you need. Pat, my guest. So whatever you need, just let me know. Okay.
For sure. And then I want to hear from Ayuni. Ayuni, are you still with us? Let me see if I can unmute you. Oops, I'm sorry. Can you unmute?
Yep,
How you doing?
good, thank you.
Would love to hear about your experience. You went to India in 2019 with Uniworld.
Yes, we did, and it was wonderful. The thing, obviously, it was a cruise tour because we flew to New Delhi and then had Agra and Jaipur before we flew to Kolkata and had the Ganges River tour. So that was wonderful.
That's great.
It
That's
was a
great.
great experience.
Was it your only time going with Uniworld? Do you want? Are you looking?
No, actually, well, we had booked, we were going with Uniworld in January to the Mekong.
Okay.
We have Vietnam and Cambodia coming up. And I think it was in 2018 or 2019 also, we had that Milan to Venice trip booked, but that was the year that I think a month or so before our scheduled trip, our ship got hit by that that other vessel.
Were
So-
you on board the ship when that happened?
No, we were not. We were scheduled to take that cruise in about a
Oh, no.
month. So
Oh,
so
wow.
we canceled.
Oh,
And we haven't rebooked that yet, so it's one of those things. But this would have been our third with Uniworld. Anyway, it'll be our second.
okay, good. Well, thank you very much. Well,
I do have a question.
Yeah, of course.
In terms of your Peruvian river cruise, is there any plan to possibly expand the land tour portion of it to add like Lake Titicaca or an extra day in Machu Picchu or something?
We've like I said, we're always, looking to modify things. Now, whether or not that will be added, that's a great question that I haven't been informed of that yet. But as of right now, we're still sticking to those, to the trip throughout the Peruvian Amazon with Machu Picchu. So that I'm not sure if we're going to expand that. But I can always investigate that with our product team to see if it's something that maybe it's in the horizon for 2024, and then just let your.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
I do want to say something else about the India trip. The hotels were just gorgeous. We had the Oberoi hotels throughout, and that was wonderful. That was just the height of luxury for hotel accommodations. That was really wonderful.
Oh, perfect. And then who do you work with?
I work with Lorena Bennett, and this is AAA here in Olympia.
Okay, so you haven't done business with us here at Luxury Cruise Connections.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna get you set up also with somebody over here at Uni so that you can have also that relationship, and we can get you all those answers as well. And most importantly, you should also know that, like I was mentioning before, because of how we work, if there is something that is not part of the Uniworld experience, or is not a part of what they're offering as a set package, we have our own preferred operators at each one of these destinations, and we can actually custom create an experience, including additional pre's or posts or additional places that you want to visit, and then just combine it all together with the Uniworld experience.
Okay, good to know.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you. And I also have a question from Elizabeth Harano. Elizabeth, if you're with us, I would love to have you ask that question live.
Hello.
How you doing, Elizabeth?
Well, thanks. I am interested in taking a river cruise in Europe next year, but what we're hearing is that some of the cruises that we're already booked on are going to be rerouted to different ports because of the problem with the water levels. Can you tell me anything about that and what your experience has been with that?
Sure. Now, you mentioned you were, are you booked on Uniworld or a different river cruise
No,
line?
no, we're coming in on a transatlantic.
Okay,
She
okay.
hasn't booked yet. She hasn't booked yet.
Oh,
The-
okay.
Right.
the River cruise.
All right. Okay, perfect. So, yes, so as far as the actual, the different places where we dock and things like that, it from what I've heard, nothing's really changed in terms of the way that we're operating them. When it comes to the water levels, that is something that's, it's very unpredictable, of course. So this past year, especially during specifically during the summer timeframes, we had a couple months where we did have trouble with some of the water levels. So we had to adapt to that. We had to alter some of our itineraries. And we even had to cancel a couple of cruises as well due to those low water levels. And we hadn't seen waters levels like that since 2018. So it's something that's, obviously it's, Mother Nature and how often it rains and things like that. But it is something that's not, the norm. So it is something that, every so often it may impact it, but for the most part, it isn't something that happens, all the time.
I want to say something about that. Elizabeth, I mean, obviously, as you can imagine, we've been doing this for a long time, right? Back in 2018, when there were low water level problems, everybody thought that it was just going to be the norm, right? That every single year there's going to be low water levels in Europe. And the reality is nobody can predict, right? 2019 was a stellar year. If my memory serves me well, I think there was no issues with low water level in 2019. And then now, again, come 2022, the Rhine River had a couple of issues throughout a couple of weeks or month. And I think during a very short period of time, the Danube also had a couple of low water level issues. And I guess the bottom line is nobody really can tell you there is going to be issues in next year in 23. But what I can tell you is that whenever we have clients on board river ships and whenever we start listening and hearing of low water level issues, we start communicating with our clients and we start looking at options, right? If we feel that Uniworld is going to be able to, work around it somehow or still make the experience a great one, then you're going to have that option. But Uniworld, especially, I mean, and knowing what I know of them, they're extremely upfront with clients. They let clients know this is what's going to happen, right? And here's your options. And they're not going to hold you hostage to your money or your deposits if the experience is not going to be as you originally expected it. So, the good news is, you're working with very very professional, I guess, very client-oriented companies, both Uniworld and us. And we'll pivot if we need to, and we'll make it work however we need to make it work to make sure that that you have a great experience. I guess bottom line, what I'm trying to say is you should not let previous year's experience with low water level determine your plans for the following year. There's hundreds of thousands of people cruising through these rivers, and I'm going to say close to 97% of the people never even have to deal with low water levels, right? It's a very small percentage, just makes big splash in the news. But it's the percentage of people that actually get affected is so tiny that it should absolutely not dominate your decision-making process there. Does that make sense?
It does. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And I have a question. If I booked with Uniworld already, can I transfer my booking to LCC, to Luxury Cruise Connect?
Yeah, so that's we take a look at that on a case-by-case basis. So if it's something, there's different factors that play into that. So if it's something that was booked, recently or anything like that, usually there's no issue. If it's in deposit stage, is it paid in full? There's different a variety of factors. So just go ahead and send me, anytime that there's a situation like that, send me the booking number, and we'll take it. I'll take a look just to confirm, we can do that.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much. Yeah, at the end of the day, we're here to enhance the experience. We're here to make sure that we can hold your hand and enhance your entire experience. There's a lot that happens from them when you book them and when you travel. There's a little tiny details that have to be taken care of. And the amazing thing with Uniworld, one of the great things about them being boutique and having such a close relationship is we can really communicate with them very specific needs that our clients have, and they really listen, and they make the most amazing things happen to make sure that the experience is catered exactly for each one of our clients. So we want to be here for you. We want to add value to your experience. Obviously, provide you with this personalized service that we're so proud of, and help you plan your next Uniworld cruise. Let's see, what other questions do we have out there? What else do we have? If we don't have any more questions, that's okay. But I do want to remind everybody that this event was recorded, and as soon as we're done with it, in a few hours, you're going to get an email with a recording of today's event. You can share that with your friends and family. Those that are attended today are going to be eligible for the savings, but your friends and family, if obviously if they get this from you, if they're referred by you, and they get this presentation or this event from you, they're also going to be eligible for that $100 per person savings and the up to $400 additional shipboard credit, which again you can use for a spa treatment, or you can use for one of the very few paid excursions or whatever. So very much looking forward to helping you plan your next amazing Uniworld vacation. Our advisors, if you already have a relationship with them, amazing. If you don't, let us know, send us an email, send us a whatever, and you will be assigned to somebody. You're not just going to call a call center. You're going to be assigned to somebody that is going to take care of you at a very, very personal level. So I'm sure you're going to love it, and I'm sure you're going to love your next Uniworld experience. And so I want to be respectful of all of your time. I know German has other people to take care of as well. German, any final word before you go?
No, just wanted to say thank you all very much for participating in today's discussion, and thank you, Carlos, for allowing me to share the details on Uniworld and what we offer and things like that. And yeah, and as always, don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions whatsoever.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much. Thank you all very, very much for being here and participating. And we look forward to the next one. Have a great afternoon,
Thank
everybody.
you, German.
Thank
Have a wonderful
you.
day.
Bye.
That's great.
Take care.
You guys.
Thank you.